After 3 years of not being in the classroom, I moved to a new state, to a new school with new students in a new classroom. It's the second day of school, and I finally got level 1 of my classroom finished. And I want to show it to you because I'm really excited. There's some parts of this that are gonna look like my old classroom, and if you wanna see those videos, I'll link them all down below. The fun part was I got to take the best of what I've known in the past and then use that on this classroom, and that's been exciting. So I wanna walk you through, I don't know how long this video is gonna end up being, but I wanna make it thorough. I want folks to have a real sense of not just like, this is so cool, look at my room, but what could you do, right? I said this in the last video. What could you do to make your room something special? And with that, let's go. All right, so one, you'll notice that the lights are dim. It's how I set up my room. I want to create that vibe. That's part of my vibe in this class. The other thing I wanted to do was, when I came in, I'm gonna throw the old picture up here. It was a plain blank room. This used to be a room that they did, I think it was martial arts in after school. So it smelled like kids that do martial arts in here. The floors are plain concrete. I have drywall walls, and everything was white with all of the 9 fluorescent light bulbs that are gonna be very bright on the ceiling. The beauty is there's a dimmer on the switch so I can turn these down. My goal would be to have them off completely and to just have like lamps and stuff, but I haven't gotten there yet. So that's the general vibe of the room. The setup for teaching, well, let's go to practical seating first. All right, we're gonna actually turn the lights up so you can, for the sake of you being able to see everything. So, all right, there we go. I have some desks. I think I have 10 desks in here. I'm trying to move away from desks. I don't want to have a whole bunch of desks. I'm teaching 10th and 11th graders now, and I'd much rather have this feel like you were in a college classroom. So there's different types of seating. I realize not all colleges are the same, but in my mind, this is what a college classroom looks like. So there are some desks. There's also moments and certain students that I need to be in a desk. Some kids can handle flexible seating, some kids cannot. So I'm not making it something that's for everyone. It is a privilege of a bit, and not even a privilege that you're given, but a privilege that you can lose should you make poor choices when sitting somewhere else. So some desks, I like details. I mean, this isn't directly lined up, but I just got finished teaching for the day. They are all the same desk. I like when the chair and the desk stay together because kids move less stuff around, so it works for me. Also, the way I told you about last time I was doing this, excuse my life odyssey picture up here, but it is having desks here, but the entire classroom faces this way. All the other classrooms in the school face this way. So just that one little thing, I wanted it to go against the grain. So I have these desks, they are all facing this whiteboard, which I can then use in class whenever I need to. I also have my vibe board up here, so I can use this in class. There also, if the kids just look to their left, there's this other whiteboard, which I have a projector that I can use. I don't know how much I'll use that this year. I might put my daily agenda on it. I might just put it on the vibe board. I haven't gotten to that place yet, so I'm not sure. But the beauty is, in every class, it's all faced the same way, even if you're sitting in some of the optional other flexible seating areas. So the first of the 3 flexible seating areas that I have right now are first this table over here. As I said in the last video, I bought this table at Goodwill for $28. Sanded the top, painted the bottom. I did end up keeping the rug because I don't know, something about when I put all this together and then we lowered the lights, it just made it look so nice. So this is a workstation for students. No one's chosen it yet, and I think that's partially because of the chairs. I have these stools underneath that are a little bit high, and I don't know, I have to get chairs for this at some point, but that's just like being able to afford getting chairs. For right now, I'm sort of using it as a makeshift desk. I don't have a teacher desk in here. The desk they gave me, I'll show you, is sort of laughable. And to be honest, I didn't want to take up all that real estate. I'd rather have space for students than space for just my stuff. And I have other options that I'll talk about that I'm going to use going forward. So for right now, this desk, and it works for me. It gives me tons of room to spread things out. I got these great paper dividers. I love checker, can you tell? Reminds me of Vans from the 80s. And This was at Walmart for like a couple bucks and I got the whole set. So it's funny when you stop teaching for a minute, you forget all the things you don't have. So even in here right now, that means I don't have things like dividers for student work. I don't have a folder for students who miss class. There's a lot of these kind of little things that it's like, not having done this for a few years, I find myself going, oh yeah, oh, I need to make that. I need to do that. I need to organize this. So that's been a bit of a learning curve as well. So that's the first optional seating area. I think this is going to come in handy when we're doing group work, when we're doing deeper talks. I have another table I can connect to this that I'll show you in a minute that will be able to like all sit around, have conversations, create posters on, do Legos and Play-Doh on. It's like hard surfaces to do more meaningful work later. Now the other spot is the couch area over here, which is one of my favorite areas in the room. I wasn't sure about this rug when I bought it. I said that in the last video, but it grew on me. The thing I love about this is it doesn't give high school vibes. It looks like it could be in someone's house. So for those of you that didn't see the last video, I got these bookshelves. I painted the outsides of them black, left the insides this natural, just polyed look. And I have a bunch of books on here. Some of these I'll read, some of them I won't, but they just filled it out. One of my students, Leighton, his family owns a cattle ranch, gave me this cow skull and I bathed it in about $20 worth of hydrogen peroxide. And that was interesting. Some of my old stuff I have up here, like my taken number, which has already gotten kids' eyes, the skull, the globe. I love when kids ask me why I have certain stuff in the room. It's always fun. I got this cool dinosaur lamp from Hobby Lobby because it was broken. And I need to get some new books for underneath of it. I want bright colored books. And on the first day of school, someone put this beautiful rose plant in my room, which has not been watered or gotten real light in a minute, so I probably should do that. I also got a diffuser this year. I put essential oils in it. I find that the Glade plugins, what I found out was that they exacerbate kids' asthma. So kids with asthma, that can help them suffer. And the more I learned about health, I learned about weird things like endocrine disruptors that are in there. So I just stay away from it. This table though, I am stoked on. I bought it for $8 at Goodwill and I just sanded the top. I polyurethaned it. I painted the bottom the same black as everything else. Got this really cheap, I think it was $3 for this drawer pull. It's a coyote, which there are coyotes all over the place, and just matches. Then it matches the table, it matches the shelves. I got this couch for free from someone that was just getting rid of it, a local group home that was getting rid of it. And it's super comfy. The kids love it. And I love how it turned out with the rug. I think that it's a good look together and it lightens up the space and it pulls the colors from the mural. Y'all know "You belong everywhere" is my saying. I tell it to kids all the time. If you've ever heard me speak, I have a story that a young woman told me one time based on this quote that moved me to tears. I'm thinking about making this into a t-shirt that looks exactly like this. But I loved the messiness of it. So the way we did this was, I thought this was gonna be hard and it was fairly simple. So we used painter's tape to create the rectangle. I designed the whole thing in Canva, put the text on there, and then painted over the painter's tape on there, and with just the messy white on there. Then went back and with a pencil, just traced out all of the letters and then painted them all in. So I didn't have to use a stencil or anything like that. My wife did it. I think it took her a day to do the whole thing and then go back and just like clean up the edges, but it was really quick. I could not love the way this came out more. I think that it's fantastic. Then in an effort to get more lamps, I got this lamp at, I think it was Walmart. Remember, folks, I've said it many times. These are not all stores I normally go to, but like Hobby Lobby and Walmart are my best friend right now because they are the closest stores within 100 and some miles. So I got this, it was like $30, this lamp. And any of the stuff that you can get, I'll link it in the description below should you be interested to go ahead and grab it for yourself. Another set of bookshelves. Some of this stuff you will have seen in my last classroom. I got the suitcases that used to stay weird stuff and weirder stuff. I took those tags off for now because I was concerned that kids might try to open them and I don't want them to open them. I have my retro phone that I make fake phone calls on to parents and all manner of folks. I don't know why that stapler is there, but it is. I'm using the boombox this year to play music through, so it's a Bluetooth speaker. So I just beam my phone to it and I'll put on like lo-fi beats on Spotify and play them through there. I have my trusty Magic 8-Ball, of course, and the giant Magic 8-Ball. Williams, shout out to Williams, teacher in West Philly. That was one of my students, gave me this clipboard one year. And then that's kind of this area. Like I said, I really like it. I have clipboards for kids should they need them if they're sitting on the couch. A lot of kids like to sit on the footstool as well, and it's been a fun area so far in the first few days of school. My next seating area is this kind of little situation over here. So you can see I brought back the flying books, and I gotta say, the beauty of getting older, or having my kids get older, is they help with this stuff. So my daughter made all the flying books this time. I simply put eye hooks in the top and ran fishing line up to the ceiling. Many of you are asking yourselves, is this within fire code? I don't really know, but I know that if the ceiling's on fire, we got a bigger problem on our hands than flying books, so I'm just saying. And then I brought in this beanbag chair, and I've had multiple kids sit over here. It's a nice chill area. I have a poster of one of my favorite books. I have some street art that I did in my old school. I wanted there to be a vibe of nostalgia in here for me of where I have come from, the things that I've done with students already. I'll show you some more stuff that's over on the wall, and then my hope is, as my students and I do things during the year, I will add to that collection. So there's purposefully blank space so I can add our new story to my total story and then bridge that gap as well. So this area came out pretty great. It's chill. I got these twinkle lights at Walmart as well. I'll put them in the description below. They were less than $10. They might have even been $5.95 or something like that. And then I did my first bulletin board. I never really talked about this. So I'm not a bulletin board guy. I don't know what the heck to do with them half the time. But I found 2 uses for them this year. So here's my 2 bulletin boards. The first one is gonna just be school stuff. And that's basically just saying like what the football schedule is, what the volleyball schedule is, what's the school schedule for the year, what's the bell schedule for the day. Anything kids need to ask or need to know. What I'm trying to do is limit reasons to leave the classroom for anything. So most of what you have, I'm gonna just keep posting things up there so that students know. And then my other bulletin board is what we're calling the Wonder Wall right now. This is a first day activity. We'll talk about this more I'll talk about the actual activity in my first day of school video. But it just says Wonder Wall, has a whole bunch of Post-it notes on there that students put on there. So that's coming up in a later video. Now, one of my favorite pieces of furniture that I got is they gave me this desk. Let's pop that picture up. This is supposed to be my teacher desk. It is maybe 4 feet across. It's very small. It's more like a student desk. So what I did was I decided to customize it a bit. Now it's not finished yet, but I'll show you what I've done. I'll show you my vision. So this is what it looks like now. So I painted the bottom the same black that I painted everything else. I put a piece of plywood on the front and painted that. And then I put a slight bit of polyurethane, spray-on polyurethane on the front. And that's just gonna protect it from any sort of like nicks or scratches or dirt or scuffs, hopefully. I've never used that before. I sanded the top and I did a coat of polyurethane on there as well. And then I got this like runner for a coffee party that cafe we did yesterday. That's also gonna be my first day of school class. So that won't necessarily stay there all year. This is gonna be a workstation and it's also gonna be storage. On the back side, we just polyed all of this as well. And then because I'm in cow country, I got cow pulls for all the drawers. My daughter named them, I can't remember what the name is. And then all these open and I have stuff in there. Another thing I got rid of were all of my drawer organizers. So I need to get like organizers so I can organize all this stuff. And then this is giving me a spot to just stash stuff for now. But what will happen down here, the dream is I'm gonna customize this entire thing. So the under part of this piece of furniture is gonna have customized shelves in there, somewhat similar to what I used to have behind my desk in West Philly. And then it's gonna go on casters, like big 3 or 4 inch wheels that I can lock or unlock so I can take this over and roll it over to this table and make like a mega table. So if we're having a cereal party, if we're doing group work and the group needs a larger space, there's like, we can move things around. I'm thinking about putting the dining room table on wheels as well. And because they're not that, I think it was like, I went to Harbor Freight and got like 4 wheels for 20 bucks maybe. So I might put wheels on that table as well so that I can move that if I wish. Should you choose to put wheels on something, it's super simple. But what you need to remember is that get the ones with locks on them. So there's like a little tilting lock mechanism on there. And that's gonna allow it to stop moving. Anything that's just on wheels, kids are gonna roll even if it's not intentional. So I'm trying to stay away from that. Still have these unused bulletin boards. I don't know if I'll use those for anything. They kind of just frame out the vibe board. And I love the vibe board being here. It is super useful. I've used it multiple times. The kids can't get enough of it because nobody else has one of these. I got it from doing a job with Vibe. So it's been really fun. But what you can't see here is this. This was my wife's incredible idea. I have no storage as of right now. All the other teachers have very large cabinets in their room that look like armoires. I didn't have one, and I have a solution for that. I bought a number of old lockers that I'm gonna refurbish. I showed it on Instagram the other day. If you're not following on Instagram, I'm putting everything on Instagram first. Any new purchases, any new updates and upgrades in my stories, and then they'll show up here on YouTube. So if you're interested, go over to Instagram, follow me over there at TeacherClassOffOfficial. So my wife had this idea that we have these cabinets at home. So behind my Vibe board is where I'm doing all of my secret storage back here. So the great part about this is I can have it kind of like, it doesn't all have to match and look cute and pretty, but I have it hidden somewhere that the students don't know where it is. But once I get to know students and I can have kids who I'm going to delegate organization to, they can come back here and get everything. I will say one of the things that I really wish I had kept from Philly is the organizational piece I had behind my desk. But this will work for now. So I can keep all of my different stuff, from markers to magnet letters to stickers. I have a toolbox in here that's made out of an old tackle box. Feathers, because there's a lot of teachers that have that. Thank you cards, sign stuff in here. Everything I might need in a given day is all back here. This will stay here, but I have way more storage on the way once I customize all these lockers that I'm doing. It also gives me a place to put like those big Post-it note papers or lights that I'm going to use for shooting in here and things of that nature as well. So that was a brilliant idea that my wife came up with, and I just think it's awesome. And then above my board here, I try to hang a bunch of artifacts, right? Things from the Brooklyn Circus when we took that trip. My own pennant that's up here. Clocks that I can read and children don't know how to read, so I don't know. So I know what time it is, but they're not constantly looking at the clock. Mr. Feeney, and it's just all stuff that I've gotten along the way, but I didn't want to put everything up. What I wanted to do was give the kids a sense of who I am, where I'm coming from, but then also leave space for us to do things together, to go on adventures together, to have experiences and have guests come in and do things and fun stuff together. And I'm looking forward to doing that as well. And then it's worth mentioning the mural. I talked about this at length in the last video because it was finished, but it still needs some fine tuning. Oh, my other favorite thing I just bought too. I've been wanting one of these forever. I got a stoplight in class. This serves no practical value. Mr. Rogers, on his show, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, who's one of my mentors that I never met. He's someone that I greatly, greatly admire. Mr. Rogers had a stoplight, for those of you that are old enough to remember, in his house. It only blinked yellow to remind children to slow down. Now, mine doesn't only blink yellow, but that's not how it was made because I bought it and it was only like 30 bucks. But I love that it's in here. It's that homage to Mr. Rogers in my classroom. And those of you that have read my book know that like even the Mr. Rogers Foundation let me use his song in my book. And he's just been a great mentor of mine for many years. So like I said, this is stage one. I have a number of other ideas. I have bleacher seating that I want to put over here in the corner. Let me show you. In this back corner, I'm going to make like large plywood bleachers that kids can sit on, but they can also use like pull a stool up and do work at as well. I really want to change the lighting in here pretty drastically. I don't want to have to use any fluorescent lights. I find that they also bother students who are on the spectrum, and I'm trying to make this room more inclusive for all the different types of kids that have coming into the room. So keeping that chill vibe. Keeping the lights down works fine. I might even get some fabric to put over these lights and just attach it with magnets so that it creates a little bit more of a tint in here as well. But I have all this room for like artwork above this board, above these bookshelves that I'm looking at. There's like a lot more room for stuff. And I'm not necessarily a maximalist, but I do want the room to feel lived in. I want it to feel comfortable. I want kids to feel comfortable. I want them to feel excited to come to class. So whether that's the smell or it's the music or it's the lighting that's happening in here, it's the choice of seating, it's the way that I'm showing up every day, this feels like a room that, you know, since I've been creating it, I enjoy walking into every day. And then the one thing that you can't see right now, and I don't want to go in the hallway because there's kids out there, I also have this like blocked off. This whole YouTube thing is still new for kids, so I got a lot of creepers, so I just put Post-it notes over these windows, but I have these windows over here that lead to the hallway, and I think I'm gonna do some kind of design on them also. I might just do like a vinyl cutout design, and then I'm gonna decorate the outside of my door for every holiday. So my first one will be Halloween. I'm gonna do some kind of like special decor outside for Halloween, and my hope is to have students help me do that as well. The more you know about your kids, the more you can do. Or rather, the more dots you collect, the more dots you can connect. And when we can learn more and more and more about our students, the room, we can start seeing what some of those needs are. Do more kids like sitting on the couch? Maybe I want to get some accent chairs over here. Maybe the beanbag's a big hit and I can try and find another one somewhere. Maybe the bleachers are a fit. Maybe the kids realize that they want to have something else over there, so we create that as well. So it's about getting to know your students as they're coming through and figuring out, do I need stand-up desks? Do I need wobble chairs? What do I need that's going to help me create an environment for my students? And then look, whenever you do any of this, y'all, ask for money first. You just don't know what the answer is going to be. If you don't ask, the answer is already no. So school paid for the paint. They just paid for 2 different colors of paint so I could do this. And like I said, they've signed off on everything I've asked for so far this year. It's been really great to have an administration that's not afraid to say yes. So I couldn't be more excited. As things come up, I'll let you know. If you do need help with your classroom management, with your student resources, with building relationships with students, or anything else, go right to shopteacherclassoff.com. We got stuff for you and more is coming. We're trying to create resources that are really going to help you to not just survive the year, but thrive the year, like I always say. That's it this time, gang. Peace.